Before I move to item 2, we are trying out the new cameras here, the CAO and myself, with council attending the meeting on Zoom. So this is an allocation of funds for this year so that those who wish to see their council in order may do so by tuning into the YouTube channel. So happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to our first session with the new equipment that should bring to you council meetings from here on in. Item 2.
Call to order.
Let the record reflect full council is in attendance. That being, who am I missing there? Councillor Evans? You're there?
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Item 3, please.
Agenda approval.
Can I
Motion is presented.
Seconder?
Seconded.
Thank you. Seconded, moved by Councillor Day, seconded by Councillor Evans. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 4, please.
Sorry, who opened the regular meeting?
I call the meeting to order.
But then open the regular meeting?
No.
You don't do that? Okay.
No, we don't do that. We're on item 4.
Conflict of interest,
Is there any? There being none, we'll move to item 5.
public hearings,
None. Item 6.
public presentation.
So you have in your kit 6.1, the RCMP report, but as John advised us earlier today, there's no RCMP person attending this evening. Is there any questions you want noted or questions asked based on the content of that report?
Your Worship, I was just going to make a comment on there's an accident that's listed in there that happened on Inglewood Drive near Nelson. And that's a pretty steep embankment. And I've looked at that over the years, and I'm wondering if it would be worth having staff investigate whether it warrants having a guardrail, because it's pretty steep. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what
you're referring to again, Ryan. I couldn't hear you very clearly.
Sorry. Just a second here, let me go to the report. I don't have it up on my screen.
Was it Inglewood and Nelson or Woolastook or?
Yeah, Inglewood and Nelson.
Inglewood and Nelson.
Yeah, so it's basically right across the street from the apartment buildings.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I'm envisioning that's where that's at. And if that's where it happened, I mean, that's a very steep embankment.
Yep.
So we'll have John draw that to the attention of RCMP to get their feedback.
And maybe even the Works Commissioner to take a look
Yes,
at it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Motion to receive and file.
I have a question.
Just a second. We had a move to receive and file from Councillor Evans, a seconder from Councillor Day.
Yep.
And on the question, Michael?
On the RCMP report, the fraud case, it was 20 year to date this year versus 3 last year. I mean, we're small. I mean, I know we've had our examples of fraud in the last several years, but they're pretty minor and not a big deal. But 20 cases? I mean, what's going on there? I'd be interested to know if that's all within our community. Is it the same person? Is it a gang? Is it organized? What the heck's going on?
Well, that's a good question, and we'll have, John's making notes here, so we'll get that and have the answer supplied via the RCMP through our staff to each of us. Anything else? Then on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 7, please.
Minutes for December 14th, 2020. The Council of Town of Grand Bay, Westfield approves the minutes of the regular meeting of December 14th, 2020 as circulated.
So moved.
Motion is presented.
Seconded.
Thank you. Councillor Snodgrass and Councillor Evans on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 8, please.
The Council of the Town of Grand Bay, Westfield authorized the bills for payment as presented in the amount for $259,257.58.
So moved.
Second it.
Councillor Day, Councillor Bailmans. Thank you. On the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and your item is 9, please.
The Council of the Town of Grand Bay, Westfield receive and follow the following consent agenda items. The Grand Bay Westfield Volunteer Fire Rescue Department report for December 2020. The Building Inspector's report for December 2020. Dog Control Report for December 2020, Recreation Department Report for December, Works Department Report for December, River Center Coordinators Report for December, and the Seniors Resource Center Report for December.
So moved.
Receive and file.
We have a motion to receive and file.
Second it.
Was that Ryan or Bev? I'm
That
sorry.
was Ryan and Councillor Snodgrass, then Councillor Day.
Okay, Snodgrass and Day, thank you. On the question, I think as I always do, I'm sure everybody read that. You know that the Seniors Resource Center, while we're in orange, is closed. And certainly, it's a heartbreaking look at the River Center and what COVID's done there and how little activity has been around there. But the good news is, and there is some within this, certainly, I think the investments in real estates in this community, I don't have it right in front of me, but 4.7, almost $4.8 million over the last year. So that's been a good news. Those kinds of investments allow us to maintain a tax rate and certainly pay for those things where inflation is attached and all of well, not all of, but those things that we believe the community is desirous of. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 10, please.
Business arising from minutes.
From December 14th, is there any? There being none, we'll move to item 11.
Delegations, there are none.
Item 12.
Petitions, there are none.
Item 13.
Bylaws, there are none.
And item 14.
Notice of motions, there are none.
Are there any? None? Then we're going to move to item 15, please.
Purchase of surplus property for Bayview Road, that the council of the town of Grand Bay Westfield purchase property located at 4 Bayview Road, PID number 30213037, as per letter of offer dated January 4th, 2021, and authorize signing authority on affidavit of transfer, any other documents required by the town solicitor to give effect to the transfer for the sum of $12,000 plus HST, and that the council of the town of Grand Bay Westfield authorize up to $5,000 for land survey and legal costs.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Evans and Councillor Day. On the question, I think that it's important that, as we talked about earlier this evening, we talked about plans that we have on the shelf here. Certainly, the tourism strategy is one of them for me that I can recall, and I'm really grateful that council has moved in this direction. I think it will be important. We will have someone new at the River Center with kayak and things rentals this year, and giving them a place to take out is part of Dr. Laura Reed's overall recommendations about how you use our river and what it takes. So thank you, council, for being forward-thinking and moving this. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 15-2.
Lagoon Solar Array, that the council of the town of Grand Bay Westfield accept the Smart Energy Company proposal for a pilot 5.28 kilowatt solar array to be located at the municipal wastewater treatment facility, equivalent to 2 tons of greenhouse gas reduction towards the goal of meeting our climate change action plan reduction target of 38.7 tons by 2025, as per the quote reference, including installation, design, electrical, structural materials, and labor and permits for the sum of $21,073 plus HST.
So moved.
On the question. Certainly, again, the efforts to put in the solar panels there are our investment this year towards our climate change action plan. It's been determined that there will be savings. Certainly, these solar panels aren't cheap. So it'll be a number of years before we actually see the payback in dollars. But the truth is that we'll be using less greenhouse gases to do the same job. So yay for you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And your item is 16, please.
Letter of December 23rd, 2020 from Nancy Grant, Chair of the Fundy Regional Service Committee, regarding the update on the plastic checkout bag bylaw. The Council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield received and followed the letter from the Chair of the Fundy Regional Service Committee regarding the plastic checkout bag bylaw.
So moved.
Second it.
Thank you. On the question, John, do you want a subsequent motion to indicate that we should start to work on that bylaw so it's ready for June?
It's going to be
Initiate.
before council January 25th.
Perfect. There you go, guys.
First reading.
Applicable to the June timeframe.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. And your item is 17, please.
Governance, Council CAO Covenant, the Council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield and the CAO, in the interest of good governance, approve and sign the Council CAO Covenant.
We looking for receive and file?
We would be looking for a motion for signatures.
I'll make so moved.
Seconded.
On the question, this, John, this is the first time council's been asked to sign what is the mandate letter, actually, I think, and it's the first time for many of us, but I think it's a good tool for you to have for an upcoming and an incoming new council. And this reflects best practices and certainly responsibilities and that are common to persons in this position of government. Councillor Snodgrass, please.
Yes, so I was just going to say, I don't know, I know we're doing some work on revamping the website, and I'm wondering if it would be worth having this posted there at some point in the near future, because, you know, it's quite lengthy, but I think it's a good document for the people in the community to understand what we're all signing up for and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves.
Ryan, I love that idea. I think that's very important to print that out with all of our signatures on it, so that, because it's true, so many people run for council without having an understanding of their responsibilities or what's expected of them when they get here. And certainly there are identified roles and there are expectations. So it's important that we acknowledge that. On the question, John, did you want to add anything?
Will do that.
Yeah, thank you. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried, and your item is 18, please.
Letter of November 23rd, 2020 from Killian Charles, President of Brunswick Exploration, regarding mineral claims. The Council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield received and filed a letter from Killian Charles regarding mineral claims.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion to receive and file. I think that was Councillor Snodgrass and Usain and Bailmans. Thank you. So just by way of an explanation for those who may be watching, we have been advised by Killam, I guess, Brunswick Exploration, Killam Charles being the president, that there has been a minerals claim extended that takes in our land. That's nothing new. It is certainly, for those who may not know, you don't know under which you live. So anyone can extract minerals from your property once they have a license, I guess. So they're just advising us that the stake has been made and our community falls within. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried. Your item is 19, please.
Council succession. That the Council of the Town of Grand Bay Westfield direct the mayor and CAO to engage TSI Incorporated to deliver the new council's orientation, strategic planning, and if necessary, organizational review for a sum not to exceed $22,500 plus reasonable travel expenses, and that the new council sessions be delivered over the weekend of May 14, 15, 16.
I motion.
Thank you. Councillor Snodgrass, seconded by Councillor Day. On the question, I just think this is, we've talked about it as a team, but for those who may be watching, it's extremely important to have this sort of orientation. So, I mean, certainly it'll be after you've already declared your interest and you've been elected. However, before you do your first meeting, this session will allow you to better understand your role and responsibility and what is expected of an elected council. John, please.
So I was just going to say, for those who are interested in running, we will be hosting a candidate orientation session as well. And dates are to be determined, but again, that's to allow candidates to understand what's going on.
I would really encourage, again, for if we have an audience watching, an orientation session where you have an opportunity to understand what you are going to be asked to do in this role. For you to attend that is extremely important. So many people over my years, I have seen so many people make promises on the campaign trail that God love them hearts. If should they get elected, by the time they do, they've made promises that aren't even in their area of responsibility. So it's important to understand what that is, what role you're asked to perform, so that you can best serve the community that you're desirous of serving. Michael, did I see you with your hand up?
No,
No.
No.
It's Ryan.
Ryan had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Ryan, please.
No, I was just going to say, it's invaluable, these types of sessions. I know when I was first elected, I guess 8.5 years ago, there was a session put on by the province, which is good, but it's very generic. And what I liked about this is it's going to have a lot of that generic information covered, but it's also going to be very specific information to our community, which I think is, really something that people really need to have. So they can get the ground running, because it's going to be probably a lot of new faces around the table, and I think it would be a good chance for them to get up to speed as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. It really is a valuable exercise. Look, when I began here 29 years ago, this used to be a 2.5-day convention in Fredericton with the provincial government, teaching you all kinds of these opportunities. Much of that has gone away, and I think UMNB, frankly, has been offering it a little bit over the last couple of years. But to your point, Ryan, it is important to permit people to have those sort of back-forth exchanges right within their community, so they have a good handle on what it is they're signing up for and what will be expected of them. So thanks, guys. Sorry, Councillor Evans.
I guess, and the other thing that I think is even just as valuable is when you going to have a bunch of new people around the table and a good turnover, you're going to get there and they'll have a chance to work together, because they might know each other, but they maybe never worked together before. So I think it's a good opportunity to get a feel before you have to make any actual decisions. You can see how people think and how they conduct themselves, and you kind of get to know each other.
Absolutely. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 20.
Consent agenda, leadership mandate letters that the Council of the Town of Granby Westfield accept and file for review in Q4. The mandate letters to Culture, Development, Finance, Fire, Parks and Recreation, Works Department.
So we're looking for a motion to accept and file all of these mandate letters as identified.
So moved.
Do I have a seconder?
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, seconded.
Oh, sorry. I can't see you, Stephen. Everybody else is putting their hand up, but you have a
I know. It's a black eye.
on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 21, please.
Letter of January 6, 2021 from Minister of Local Government, Local Governance Reform regarding the extension of the Safe Restart Agreement. Council of the Town of Granby Westfield received and filed a letter from Minister Elaine of Local Governance Reform, the extension of the deadline for the Safe Restart Agreement.
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
By Councillor Snodgrass. Thank you, Council. And to our previous discussion, we're going to ask John if he could just have a quick peek of perhaps some other examples to ensure that we're not missing an opportunity. So on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Your motion is carried and your item is 22, please.
Adjourn. The Council of Granby Westfield now adjourn the meeting.
I need a mover. Councillor Evans?
Yes, moved.
Councillor Bailmans, were you the seconder?
Yes.
On adjournment, on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? We are adjourned at 7:53. Thank you, Council, for attending the first meeting of the year. And let's hope those are watching will provide some feedback with respect to this camera system, and in hopes that they can see and hear us well. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.